Hello everyone. Welcome to the first class of Base Sas, where we are going to cover Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So let's getting started with Sas, and we'll be looking at the parts of Sas screen and submitting a Sas program. So let's getting started. So I hope every one of you are aware of that what Sas is and what all components of Sas are there. So let me just tell you that you might have seen this icon on your screen, on your desktop, that is about sas.exe, and you can use or you can double click on this icon to open your Sas screen. Now, if I move, this is the Sas logo, and the power to Sas tuner. This is again the updated logo of Sas. And below all these logos and images, you get a window or the environment screenshot, which is of the Sas window. All right, just give me a moment, please. All right. So I think that each one of you are aware of the Sas environment. Let me show you that how to open it and how it looks like when you open your Sas environment on your system, right? So let me just go to, I have already opened a session. Let me close it. As soon as you go to your start menu, all programs, you get Sas folder in the list of all programs there. This is Sas. And I have the updated version of the Sas, that is 9.4. So I'll double click on it, and you will get another window called Sas 9.4 for Windows. And this is the exact same environment which got opened, which you were looking at the PowerPoint presentation. So I'll be moving ahead with this slide and let you know the various components of Sas environment, what all windows are there, and what all components you get when you work with Sas, right? So let's move ahead. Now, see, whenever you open the Sas environment, let me show you that what all options you get. It is nothing but the presentation is describing all the options which you get. So let me go back to the Sas window, and here let me just tell you that what all windows you get when you open this Sas environment. So right now, the window which is highlighted here, that is editor window, which is untitled right now, but you can name it. You can save your code in this window. You can write your code in this window. So I'll say write your code here. Okay. So this is the window where you will be writing your code, called editor window. Then just above this, there is another window which is that is log window. So log window is the place where Sas tells you that what's happening with your code, with your actions which you have done. So you can see there is some nodes. Those are by default nodes. When I opened the Sas system, it ran some of the operations in backend, and it gave you those nodes. So that is why you can see that Sas has updated an Analytics product, this version, additional host information, this. So this is exactly about this is the information when Sas got opened. But when you'll be working with your code, it will tell you each and everything, whether there is a warning with your code, if there is any error with your code, or if your code runs successfully. It will give you all the notifications in the log window. Then with these two, editor and log, we have a third window called output window. Now this is the window, output window, where you will be looking at the output or the result of your code which you have run. So when I say if there are any errors, any warning with your code, you get those notifications in the log window. But suppose that you have used print proc, means you want to print your Sas code. So you will be getting that code here in the output window, right? Not exactly the code, but the result or that print result in the output window. If you want to see any data set, if you want to see the content of a database data set, you can see them here in the output window. All right. Now, if I move left, then you see there are two other options, Explorer and Result. So Explorer window is nothing but it gives you, as in Windows environment, we use Windows Explorer, right? Windows Explorer means you have a lot of folders in that, and you can, navigate from one folder to another in order to your search for a file, or if you want to save any file, then you can go into those explorers or Explorer window and search for the folder where you want to locate your file. In the same manner, SAS gives you this environment inbuilt that in the Explorer window, you can navigate from my computer to the various folders which are built in the my computer. And if not, if you don't want to do that, then it gives you the library icon here. Library icon is just tells you that where you can save your data sets. So exactly, this is taking time. I have clicked on my computer, it's taking time. That is why I have opened another right now. So you can see it here, the library folder. In library folder, or we have all the active libraries. So all the libraries which you can see right now, whether it is work, SAS user, SAS help, map SAS, map SGFK, and maps. So these are by default directories, or I would say libraries. Okay, those get created when you install SAS. So what happens when you install SAS? These are the libraries which are by default created. Now, if I click on any of these libraries, you will get there are some data sets in it. So let me click on SAS user. Okay, there it has some of the profile of the different users. This is blank. This is again nothing for us, but okay. Unfortunately, there are no database in it. I'll go back to the SAS help and then I'll show you the data sets. Okay, very often I get confused with database and data set. Those sound similar, but data set are specific to SAS, and databases which we store on server like SQL Server. Okay, so here we have data sets like AIR, FMSG, add SMSG. Okay, so these are the data sets which are already there in this. If you want to see the data in it, you can just double click on it. It will open into another window and you can see the data inside of this data set. So you can see that there are two variables, date and amount, and there are 11 observations. So you might get confused that I just said there are two variables, date and amount, and 11 observation. You're right. In SAS language, or I would say in SAS environment, for columns we use variable and for rows we use observation. So there are two columns, it means there are two variables, date and amount, and then I say there are 11 observation, means there are 11 rows in this data set. So that was all about this data set. Now my main motto was to show you all the libraries and how the data sets look like inside of a library. Okay. With all these libraries, we have a work library. You will not find anything here. Basically, work library is a folder, or you can say a reference to library, where you store your all the data sets. Okay. So by default, suppose that you have not mentioned any library and you work with any data set, so it automatically gets created into work library. All right. Then we have a result window here. Result window is nothing but it is a place which will show you the various results which you have seen into your output window. Okay, so when we will be working with various results, various queries, then for each result you will get a link here in the result window, and you can navigate from first result to the next result, or from the last result to the first result. So this is how this result window is going to help you. Now, I just told you about the various windows in SAS environment and how you work with them. Apart from these windows, you can see there are various options or in the menu bar here, right? So let's see. I'll start from the right. So the first option says help. If I click on help, another window will be open. It says that SAS help and documentation initializing. So it's going to open another window. If you are connected to net, you can see all the help which you may need in future from the SAS environment. So you can see in this window, it tells you the SAS system documentation, what's new with SAS, then learning to use SAS, sample SAS programs, SAS books. So you can get a lot of references to the SAS books here. So it's good to use SAS, SAS help whenever you require or you stuck with your code. So it should be your first approach. Whenever you are stuck, go to this SAS help and try to find out what you are looking for and what error basically you get. You can see here the SAS, base SAS. Now here you will get each and everything related to the base SAS software. That how to, Windows look like, how to you will be writing your program here, how the code will look like. So that information, the complete tutorial you might find here. And now these are the other folders which will tell you that how to connect SAS with other sorts of data like access, AF, assist, connect, EIS, ETS, right? SAS integration technologies. So you will get a lot of help in this SAS help and documentation window. So it's recommended that every time you are stuck, every time you need some help, a supporting hand, SAS help should be your first point of contact. And then, if not, then definitely your mentor, your teacher, or your colleagues are the next point of contact for your help. Right. Now, the next to help window, there is another folder called break. I've just highlighted it and it gave the tooltip option, that break. So we do use this, we use it very frequently, right? When I say very frequently, means suppose that if you have ran a program and what happened, that program is not stopping, it's continuously, it entered into a loop and it's continuously keep running, right? So in that situation, you can use this break command to stop that program. And basically not only for the program, you can, as soon as you will click on this break program, you will get this minute window, small window. Now, right now there are only 3 options because there is no code written into the editor window. But had it been that the instance I just talked, that there are a code which is keep running, then you would have got 4 options here, right? Now, by default, we have got cancel submitted statement. I have not submitted any statement right now. Now the cancel the dialog, and third one is terminate the SAS system. So you can see that as soon as I will click here, terminate the SAS system, and click OK, the SAS window or the SAS system will get closed. Okay, it's another confirmation window. Why to terminate the SAS session? No to continue. So if I click Y, you see the first session got closed. And do you remember that I clicked on my computer, then SAS got hanged? So this is the sense that environment. Right? I have a lot of shared libraries in my computer, and that is why you can see them here. Okay, so let's move ahead, and now you can see there is a running man here, and it says submit. It sits the button which I'll be using most frequently. When I say most frequently, so either if you suppose that if you have submitted a code here and you want to run that, so you use this running man, you double click on it, that code will be submitted, or you click F8 to run your code, right? You can use F8 to run your code, or you use this running man to run your code. So it's very simple, no rocket science. It's very simple, and you can use these options to navigate or work with your code. Now, the next is SAS Explorer. So as soon as I will click here, you can see the same environment, all the libraries, document, my desktop, my computer. So this is nothing but this Explorer window which you used to get here. Alright, it is gives you the another way to navigate from one place to another for various help, right? You can see that all the databases here. So if a data set, sorry, so you can see if I go here, you see all the folders, and inside of these folders there would be your data sets. So this is how you work with the Explorer window. Then as soon as I'm on output window, you can see there is another thing which is highlighted, programming windows. So it will, as soon as like from output window, you can directly click on it and you will move to the editor window, right? Now then we have this new library. So if I'll click here, then it will create a new library. So we'll be covering this in future, that how to create libraries. There are various ways to create library. When I say library, it's nothing but a folder like this. Okay, so nothing but the folder like this where you can store your data sets. Then we have this undo button. So it is same in all across applications. This is paste, this is copy, cut. Again, this is print preview, print, save, open new SAS environment, or SAS, not exactly a new environment, but the new SAS code editor window. Okay, you can see with open you can use the existing. Suppose that you have saved some code on your desktop, so you can open that code. But with the new, you will create a new window. So if I'm on the editor log and I click new, so this is a new window got opened. You can see that editor 1 and untitled 1 and untitled 2. So this is how you're gonna work with these options here. And if I go up, then again you have the same SAS doc help and documentation, windows, all the windows and how you want to see them. So you can set these windows by default. Like right now you can see that I can see two windows together, the log one editor or output window, right? So you can manage those windows from here, like tilt vertically. Now I can see all three windows, right? If I go back and click on tilt horizontally, then you can see all these three windows like this. But my dear friend, you are going to write code. So it's best way to either look at two windows at a time right now, at a time, or try to look at one window, because you will have to write lengthy codes, scripts in this SAS environment. Okay, then we have, these are the various tools which if you are working with advanced SAS, then you will be using these like analysis, graphic miner, enterprise, reporting purpose. So all the options are there, and we might be using these in across the course. Then again run, you can see running man here, submit, recall the last submit, submit top line, submit end lines, and submit clipboard. So this is how you will be navigating with various options. Okay, now we have here like view. Now you have enhance editor, program editor, log, output. So again you are navigating from one window to another. So when you open SAS and you get familiar with these, then it would be easy for you to understand that how to use these options, right? I won't much time here. I won't waste much time here, and let's move ahead. So I'll show same things in the PPT once again. All right. So yes, this was about the SAS environment. Then the thing. See, normally what happens that for each application you have a extension defined for it. Like for text file, you have .txt. For Word document, you have .doc or .docx. In same manner, for SAS dataset, you have .sas7bdat. Okay, so this is for SAS dataset, not for the SAS code file. If you have a SAS code file, then that code will be .sas, right? This is the SAS dataset which I have saved here. That is SAS 7 btat. But had it been SAS code, let me show you how that SAS code look like. Let me write any code here. Let me go to SAS help. Then I will show that how to use your proc print to see the data, right? Proc print data is equal to, I will mention data. So SAS dot help. Sorry. SAS help dot, I'll say air and run. This is the code which I have written. I can run it by submitting on this running man. So another window will open with the result. So just give it a minute and it will show you the result for it. So this is the window wherein you got the result, and this is the result window which I was talking about, that you will get links for that result, particular result. So I'll close it, but I'm going to save my code. I've got another window. I'll save it on desktop so that I can show you how the SAS file look like, the code file look like. So now you can see it's .sas, test.sas. So this is the SAS code file or SAS program file. But this is SAS 7b dat. This is SAS dataset file, right? So SAS produces two type of files, .sas and SAS dataset file. All right. I think everything is clear till now. Let's read or move ahead further. It says SAS dataset can be created, modified, deleted, saved in a pen drive, and also read by other appropriate programs, just like text files, Word files, and Excel files. So this is all about the SAS files. Now let's move ahead. It's again talking about the SAS help and documentation, which we have already seen, gone through. So it's your time to see and navigate. Try to, there are again a lot of options here. Those are very generic. You can go to these option menu and try to navigate through the SAS help and documentation to find more help, a good supporting hand for you. Now the component of SAS window we have already gone through, but still I'll tell you that as normally what happens with a lot of applications, you get a lot of pages, right? So similarly, all the windows which are shown into this SAS environment, I have already told you. So there is nothing new for you now because we have already gone through these pictures. Let's move ahead. Now the editor window contains the SAS code, it will be the sample code. Don't worry about the code program. I have just told you how to use that proc print data statement. So definitely I would say again, don't worry about the code which I had written over there, which I'm talking about, this one. Don't worry, I'll tell you in detail that what exactly it is doing and how it should be used in future. Okay. These are the further logs which it shows, right? So when we run the program, okay, let me show you. When I ran this program, there would be some log must be created in the log window. So here we go. It says there were 144 observations read from the dataset sas.help.a. Procedure print used total process time and the real time and CPU time. So this is how log is created for each action or step which you do in the SAS environment. Now there is nothing wrong with the program which I written. That is why everything is in blue color and you got only notes. But in case, suppose that if you will write the program, if you do any mistake over there, let me create a mistake, and then if I run this program, I've run it, I'll go to log window again. It says proc print sas help.error. Now this is in a red color for you and it says error. Okay, so this is how these things work. If there is error, it will be shown into the error window, the log window, but it does not happen every time. Now I'll show you something else, that if you are here, I have used the semicolon, and now what I want you to do is that in the SAS environment, you don't have that data set. I'm going to use a data set which is not there exactly, right? So let me say error 1, and if you are going to run this procedure, what log you will see? It says error file sas help.error1 data does not exist. So you saw that how it's giving you nodes, errors, and in future when we'll be working with the code, so you get warnings. Warning, see, error says that your program does not run or it will not run. You will get warnings. Warnings will tell that your program will run, but there might be some problem with the data. And the blue color, all the nodes which you see in blue color, those specify that your code has run successfully, right? So till now exactly what happened, you got the combination of error and the node. Definitely that data set is not there, but SAS tries to run the code which you entered. So the code was executed successfully, but as if now there is no data, so definitely you will not get any output in the output window. So let's move, and I would like to show you this window again. All right, let's move. So this is the output window. They have shown the result of a freak procedure. Freak procedure, nothing but the frequency. Okay. So in statistics, you might have seen mean, median, frequency. So this is one of the proc which we will be using in future. Proc, freak, and they have shown the result of that particular procedure into the output window. This is, not at all formatted here, but you will have a lot of options to format your result, that how it should look like in the output window. I'll be telling you that how to use titles, each and everything in future, but for time being, it's good thing to know that this is the output window and this is how you're going to see your result. Now the Explorer window and the result window, I have already told you. Shortcut to SAS. Alright, now the libraries. So basically libraries, let me tell you what exactly libraries are. So libraries, as I told in future as well, that libraries are not exactly in future. Let me tell you that library, these are the libraries, and this is nothing but the reference where you store your data sets. Okay, so if I have shown you that these are the default libraries which are created into the system, and as soon as you clicked on SAS help, so the libraries which are created, you are able to see them by default. But in future, suppose that if you want to create any library and you want to store some data in it, definitely you can do it. So let's read why we need library and what is the significance of library in SAS. So they have given an example here that Ramu is a young fellow. He stores all his photos in his home computer under his My Picture folder, as he has following folder. Okay, so you can see in the screenshot that he has created various folders under Ramu or My Picture folder, right? Graduation, home, relatives, Wooty trip, college year 1, college year 2, college year 3, and college year 4. So graduation, home, relative. So these are the various folders which he has created, and for various occasions he stores pictures in the separate folder. So why does he arranges these photos in this manner? What is the use of grouping them in this way? People can understand easily that yes, it would be easier for him to search, right? That whenever suppose that he need a picture from Woody trip, he can directly go to the Woody trip folder and pick that picture out. Alright, so arranging photos thematically reduces the time or when you are going to search those photos in the future. But had it been the scenario, you store all the pictures into one folder, right? Suppose that I have created a folder called Ramu, and inside of this folder, I'm just going to put every picture. Whenever I go and click with my camera, I put that picture in the same folder. So you will not be able to figure out that which picture belongs to which occasion, right? Which picture belongs to the booty trip, which picture belongs to your college graduation, which picture belongs to your college year 4, right? So to get into this situation, it's better to create a particular hierarchy or a folder wherein you can store your pictures. That it does the same for you. You have libraries option over there. You create related, you can create a number of libraries in SAS, and you can store, that type of data into that only, right? So if you want, I can create a library here with the health care domain, and I will store all the healthcare data into that. I can create a pharma library, and I can store all the pharma data sets into that. I can create medicine library, and I can save all the list of medicines and details about the medicines into that data set or into that particular library. So it's up to you that how you wanna arrange your data sets. You can create a number of libraries into the SAS environment. But again, the processing and the storage of these libraries will depend on the system where your SAS is installed, right? So let us suppose in case you have very less memory in your system, but you are storing a lot of data, then definitely the performance of your system will hit. So it's better to look at the memory space in your system and then store the data into these libraries, because ultimately whether SAS tool is very fast, but it has a limitation. If there is a limitation in your system where the SAS system is installed, right? So it will work accordingly as your system performs. So keeping that in mind, you can store data. Alright, so again it's telling you about that there are by default libraries, SAS Help, SAS User and Work, which you get on your system. But let me tell you an important point, an important question which normally being asked into interviews, that we have a work library, we have SAS Help library, we have SAS User library. So basically, when you open all these three libraries one by one, whenever you want, right, you do not get any data set in the work library. You do get something in the SAS User library, and you get a lot of data sets into SAS Help library. So by showing all these libraries, my main motto is, see, you might have worked with SQL Server temporary tables as well. So what basically happens, if you do not mention anything in your data set, that by default goes to the work library and gets saved to work library. And until unless you will not put that into any permanent library, so see, permanent library and temporary library, let me first of all tell you that which library is permanent and which is temporary. So work library is called temporary library, right? And SAS Help and SAS User and any library like Satya here, or these maps, or whatever library you are going to create will be the permanent library. So now how it makes a difference, the library, whether it is a permanent or temporary. So anything which you will save in the work library will be temporary, right? When I say temporary, it means as soon as you are going to close the SAS environment, that data set will be vanished. You will not be able to recover that again, right? So another thing, suppose that you have created a data set and you have not mentioned any other library, so it will by default go and save that into work library. But if you want to save that into any other library, then you will have to mention the library name. I will show that how to mention library name before dataset. But right now, this is maximum, or I would say important thing to know, that type of libraries in SAS are temporary and permanent. Work library is temporary library, whereas SAS Help, SAS User are SAS defined permanent libraries, and everything else whatever you create is the user defined permanent library. And how this is going to this matters to you, if you're working with live data sets or creating programs, it will automatically be it will be automatically understood to you that how this is going to make a sense or make a difference for you. But in a one-liner, just let's move before that. A library is nothing but the collection of data sets or a reference to the location where you save your data sets. All right. So that's all, and let's move to the next page now. So as soon as you launch SAS, you can see these menus we have already gone through. All right. Now it says, what is a SAS program? So SAS program, I told you that you are gonna write your SAS programs into Sas window, which is editor window. Okay, so it says a Sas program is a sequence of steps that the user submits for execution. Data steps are used to create Sas datasets, and then the proc steps are used to process Sas datasets, right? So data steps are used to create datasets. I'll show you that what is data step. And then you have proc step. Proc step is to process data set. When I say process, it could be that you are sorting that. It could be that you are going to find out a report out of that data set. It is possible that you are going to summarize that data set. So there are n number of manipulation which you can make with that data. And if you want to see the output in output window, then you use proc steps. So basically a Sas program has two steps or two parts. First one is data and another is steps. When we will be writing a Sas program, I'll tell you that how to write a program in a couple of minutes, and then you can see that how we distinguish these both parts, whether it is a data part or data steps or it is a proc step. Now keywords, statements, step and program. So basically this is a hierarchy that we have keywords, we combine those keywords, then we make statements, and when we work with a lot of statements, we create steps. Steps means whether proc step or data step. And the combination of proc step or data step makes a Sas program. Alright. Now example of keyword. So keywords like in file, input, data, by, proc. So these are the keywords, and you will get to know more and many more data keywords or Sas keywords. Statement without with a keyword, starts with a keyword and ends with a semicolon. So this is a very and really important thing to know, that every statement which you are working with in Sas is going to end with semicolon. If you are not using semicolon at the end of your statement or any statement, it's gonna give you error, right? So for all the programmers, whether you are new or old, make a habit to use semicolons at the end of your statement. Now steps start with data or proc. So as we have already discussed that there are two steps in a Sas program, data and proc. So each step starts either with data or proc and ends with a step boundary. What is step boundary? We'll discuss in detail. Okay, so here is a question, the classwork quiz. How many keywords are there in the following? So as I have already said that keyword could be in file, output, data and by. Similarly, you have a lot of keywords here like data, you have run, you have proc, print, data, where, run, proc, sort, data, then by, and then descending, proc, means, data, where and run. So these all are the keywords. Steps, how many steps are there? So you need not to do anything, just count all the semicolons in this program. Because I said that each statement ends with a semicolon. So if you can count semicolons, you will find the number of statements in the program. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 statements. And how many steps are there in the program? So step starts with either data or proc, right? So count all the data steps and all the proc steps. So how many steps are there? 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So there are 4 steps in this program, 11 statements, and n number of n number. When I say n number, you can count all the keywords which were there, right? So it will give you the answer. The keywords 10: data, run, proc, where, run, proc, by, proc, where, and run. These are the keywords. 11 statements and 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 steps. Alright? Everything is clear till now? Alright. So everything is good to go. Then let's move ahead. That step boundary. The word we just used that ends with the step boundary. That each step ends with a step boundary. So step boundary. What is step boundary? Let's take an example that what is step boundary. They have shown a beautiful map of India, and there are various states. Now the example which we are going to take is just read it. It says it is like a border of two states. You can see between Tamil Nadu, we have one side we have Karnataka, one side we have Kerala, and one side we have Andhra Pradesh. So left side of border of one state, right side another state. So step boundary lies between two steps. Or basically, if you talk about this map, then the step boundary is nothing but the line between two states. That is what we call the step boundary. And similarly, when we are working with Sas program, we have step boundaries between two steps, which distinguishes that my first step has been completed. Now I'll be working with the next step. Alright, so step boundary in a Sas program, that Sas detects the end of a step when it encounters one of the following: a run statement, or a quit statement, or the beginning of another step. When I say beginning of another step, either you get a data keyword or a proc keyword. So if any of these three things the Sas encounters in the program, it starts another step. And very important thing, that some Sas programmers do not type run statement when one step gets over and the next one begins. It is not hard and fast rule to type run to indicate the step boundary, but it's recommended that you use, because that helps other readers or other Sas users or Sas programmers to understand your code. You should be a good Sas programmer. I mean, when I say you should be a good Sas programmer, you should write your code so that in a way so that other can understand, right? You should not write a code which only you can understand. So it's good and recommended practice to use run when you stop your proc or data step. How many steps are contained in a program? Answer: the count the number of step boundaries and you can find the number of steps in the program. Okay. So the run editor window, the editor window of Sas draws a line every step boundary. The program we see here has 3 step boundaries and hence 4 steps, right? So these lines are nothing but the step boundaries. Now let me show you that how automatically these lines get created into the Sas environment. I am going to write a program. I will not write a program right now. I'll just copy paste this again and again. You can see every time I write, hit enter and go to this proc. If you want, I can write data as well. Data, as I have written data, you can see a line, right? So this line is nothing but the step boundary, and every time you will hit enter and either you will write proc data run and then proc. Okay, so as soon as you will see every step ends with either run or quit. There are something where you will be using quit or you will be using run, but these things are used to end your step, whether it is data or proc, and every step begins with either proc or data. So if you want to find out the total number of steps in this program, you just count these lines, add 1. Okay, because as soon as you will end it and you will start another program, then only you can see this step boundary. So you can to find out the number of steps in a program, you can add 1 to number of step boundaries. So this is So this is how it will look like to you now. Let me just go ahead and show you that the editor window of SAS draws a line for each step boundary. The program we see here has 3 step boundaries. Alright, 3 step boundaries and hence 4 steps. So data from run, 1 step, proc to run, another step, proc, this is another step, and then again proc to run, this is another step. So there are 4 steps and 3 step boundaries. Alright, now let's move. How many steps are there in this code? So if you will just read it and you will automatically know that how many steps are there. To know how many steps, just read either data or proc. So 1, 2. There are 2 steps. There is only one, I would say there is only 1 step boundary. So it means 2 steps. Adding comments in SAS. So while using SAS, you can add comments anywhere in the program. Anything added in the comment will not be processed by SAS. So use comments judiciously so that everyone looks at the code, can understand what is the purpose of the code. Sometimes even the author of the code will benefit from knowing what he has typed. See, so what basically happens in each language, irrespective of the platform, but each programming language have a commenting facility. So you can comment your code so that next time you go through that code, you can understand that what is written in it. And if anybody who is new to the system and if he goes to that code, he will understand that what exactly that code is talking about. So in order to write code here in SAS, there are multi-liner code as well as the single liner code. So if you want to just put the code in single line, so let me just write a code first of all. Proc print data, and I'll go back to the library SAS help again. I'll print the data SAS help dot baseball. I will end my statement with semicolon. I will write run. I know that this is going to print some data set baseball, but if I write like this asterisk, this is going to print baseball data set. Alright, so you can see that I have put a comment here and it tells me that this is going to print the baseball data set. But when I will run this program, it will print baseball data set, but the program is not going to read this line, first one, because it is commented. Okay, this code line will not be compiled, it will not be executed. So that is why it didn't give me any error. It is just for information for the user or who is reading that program. Now this is the single liner comment which I have just made. If you want, you can make multi-liner comment, and for that you can use slash star and you can copy paste the same line. I'll copy paste this like this, like this, like this, and then I will end my comment here. So you can see this is a multi-liner comment and the system is not going to read these comments. I can run my program like this. Or if you want, I can show you how to run the complete. I have selected all the rows. I will run it. Again, I will get only my result, nothing else apart from that. So now these are the results from the result window. If you want to go to the last result, you can click here like this. If you want to go to the first result, you can click here. So this is how you navigate with the help of result window from one system to another. Okay, comments can be single liner or multiple liner. So I have just shown you that it could be multi-liner or single liner as well. These are the examples they have given here. That data hello is equal to good morning SAS user, how are you doing today? and then run. So this is how you create. Let's create this data set for you. Let me say data hello, and I will say they have said hello is equal to how are you. Okay, I'll end my statement with semicolon and then I will say run. So this is what data set I have created. I go to log window. I can see the data set work.hello has one observation, one variable. It was created successfully. I'll go back to my program again and I'll write proc print data name hello, and then run. If I run this, I'll see the output in output window. So it says hello, how are you? Alright. Now the initial thing which I told that here I have not mentioned any library before my dataset name. In this statement you can see that I have mentioned sas help.basemol, so I am referring to this library, but in this statement I have not given any library name. So as I told that if I will not mention any library, it will by default go to the work library and save it over there. So we can check that now, work library, and this is the hello data set here. If you want to double click on it, you can see hello 1, how are you? Alright, so this is how your data sets get created and you submit your program in this way. But as soon as I will close this data set SAS environment, I will not get this. Let me just copy this and I will close. Okay, I have closed the SAS environment. I'll open it again. I'll go back to my work library. Nothing is there. So that is why I said that if you want to save anything permanently, so save it into a permanent library, not in the work library. But normally, suppose that when we are working and in any process, in intermediate thing, we create a lot of data sets, then we definitely save them in work, because at the end of the program we don't need those data sets. Alright. Now the current folder. So current folder is nothing but it gives you the location where your all the operations are being taken care. So all the operations being taken care. So in the SAS environment you can see here, see users small. So this tells you that this is the current folder where your operations are being taken care. So this is nothing. If you want, you can just change it, browse anything else, and you can click OK. So it will change, right? So let's move. Submitting program, I already told you that either you can click F8 or click on that running man. You can submit your program. Alright, so we have seen all the things that how to write a program. This is the basic program which I have written and I have submitted that. So it's going to help you a lot. So what you can do is just work with some of the basic program. Just try to get familiar with all the windows here in the SAS, that log window, output window. Try to navigate through the help windows, all the options from the help, then explorer and result, and try to get familiar with all these menus which you see here in the menu bar or in the menu ribbon. So once you will get familiar, we can go ahead in our next class and we'll tell you that how to create libraries and how to create bigger functions or SAS programs. So that's all for today. Hope you must have enjoyed the session today. If you have any question, do let me know or email me at train@dataminers.com. Alright then, thank you so much. Bye bye.